Hey folks, Christina here. All right, we are going to do a little walkthrough of your independent project, which is on Intro-63 and Intro-64. So what you'll want to make sure you have is the instructions page that comes from your book and also the file that came from Blackboard. And what we'll do is we're just going to start on number one. We did part of this in class today, but we'll do this again. Once you open up that student data file, your document is likely going to say enable editing up here at the top. Go ahead and click enable editing. We do want to do some editing on this. And then what we're going to do is we're on 1C, so we're going to do the save as box. So I'm just going to go to file, save as. Now it's really important here. Hopefully your OneDrive is going to be working. I talked to one of our computer support folks this afternoon, and I'll share that info with you all on Monday. But from wherever you are at home, you can save this to your OneDrive. And I'm going to click that. And then it tells me to save this and create a new folder named LAS in your OneDrive folder. For me, I'm going to skip that for right now. I've got mine in a folder that's called BA131. And so we'll just save that with our initials. So CW intro 4-A. Perfect. And then I'm just going to click save, and it's showing me up in the top area where it's saving to. And you can see it has my OneDrive. And then this is the name of my folder. For yours, it'll likely just have your OneDrive here. So I'm just going to click save. And if you wanted to put folders into your OneDrive, for example, you might have a folder for this class, you might have a folder for another class. That's perfectly okay if you wanted to do that to keep yourself organized. Okay, next up, we're going to be on step number two, and I'm going to actually show you a shortcut to do some of this formatting. Sometimes the book has you do the same step in different ways, and I will often show you all a shortcut because who wants to do things the long way? Okay, so in number two, we're trying to do a few things. First of all, we're going to add some formatting to the to, from, date, and subject. So let's do that part first. So what we're going to do is highlight the to, including the colon. Then I'm just going to hold the control key down while I highlight from, date, and then subject. And this holding the control key down while you highlight all of those lets you do the same formatting to all four of those in one step. So up at the top here in the font area, I'm going to click the launcher. The launchers are those little arrows with the kind of right angle over the top of them. That just expands the font menu so we get some different options. And our instructions tell us that we need to do bold, and we need to do all caps. So I'll just click bold in the font style, and then all caps is over on the right under effects, and then I'll just click OK. And then that changed our formatting for us. Next, we're going to move down to number two, letter D, like David. And that says we want to select life's animal shelter in the first sentence and make it bold. So I'm just going to highlight that. Now, your book says to press Control and the letter B, like bold, on your keyboard. In this instance, my mini ribbon came up, so you can just click bold here. And if you hover over that, it tells you the shortcut for bold is Control and then the letter B. So I'm going to just do that. Then we've got that bolded. So we can check off letter D there. Finally, for number two, we are going to select the first sentence in the second body paragraph, and we want to apply italic formatting to that. So I'm going to select that question, and when that little menu pops up, I can choose I. If you don't see that menu pop up or you click something and it goes away, the italic is also underneath the font ribbon as a shortcut, or you can go to the launcher and you can change it under the font style. So there's a few different ways that you can do that. Personally, I like to use that mini ribbon when it pops up. It's pretty efficient there. Okay, next we're going to move on to step number three. So step 3 says that we are going to add some document properties to our document. And to get to your document properties, you'll just go over to the file at the very top left in the file ribbon on Word. So we're going to click File, and then we're going to go down to Info, and we're going to click Info. And after you've clicked Info, in the middle of your screen, it says Properties. We're just going to click on Show All Properties down here at the very bottom in the middle. And what that gives us is an opportunity to add a title and also to add a company. There's other things you can add, but for this project, we just need to add a title and the company. So the title is going to be Support Letter, and the company is going to be Life's Animal Shelter. And once you click out of that, these are saved automatically for you. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to pause this for just a minute, give you a second to catch up, and then we're going to talk about how do we save this document. Right. Now, your document may have already had auto saving on it. If it didn't, here's how you're going to make sure you have a copy of this in your OneDrive. So we're just going to go down and click Save As, go to the Rogue OneDrive. I'm choosing my 131 folder. It's there. I've got my name. I'm just going to click Save, and it says, hey, you already have a file named C. Wooten Intro 4-A. Do you want to replace it? I'm going to say yes, because this is the most current um, copy of the document that I have. So I just basically did an overwrite of that previous saved item. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 4, which this is where we're going to get a link to share this document with your instructor. And if you remember earlier, we talked about you'll only need to get a link one time in class. Everything else, you'll be submitting your actual documents. And there's a few ways to get a link. I'll show you a couple of those. So first, you can click this little icon. It looks like a little arrow going to the side. That will open up a sharing window where you can just share the name or the email, excuse me, that you're sharing to. And then you can choose how you want to share this. For this file, if you will, go ahead and click Can Edit. And then I'm just going to put my email in there. If you want to put a note, you can. Out in the real world, there may be a note that you need to put, like this includes the fourth quarter results, or something along those nature or along those lines. Then we're going to click Send. And then it says, hey, you invited Christina to edit your document. What that does on the other end, so on my end, is I get an email that said, hey, Christina Wooten shared a document with you. When I open that email, it shows me a link to your document. Now, one thing I want to show you all, just in case this happens to you, if you click this link, sometimes in OneDrive, it doesn't save all your changes. Number one, don't freak out about that. It's no big deal. All you need to do is just click that file and then download it to your computer so that you can work on it. And then you'll just resave it to your OneDrive. Excellent. Okay, next up, we are going to move into step number 5, which is where we're going to save the document as a PDF. So I'll pause this one more second, give you a chance to send that link over, and then we'll be right back to do the PDF. All right, folks, we are back, and now we're going to work on getting a PDF of this document. And in your instructions, it asks you to make sure that you optimize for standard formatting. I'll show you how to do that. It says we're going to save the file as our initials, intro 4B, and then it says we're going to save it into the LAS folder. For me, I'm going to be saving it into my 131 folder, just so you know. And then we're going to save the document, and then we're going to exit. So I'm going to go up to File. Again, that's the top left of our screen. And we're going to do Save As. Now, you will see Save as Adobe PDF. That's not going to work for you. We don't have Adobe connected on our computers. So we'll just do Save As. I'm going to make sure I go back to my OneDrive folder. And I'm in my BA131. Now, I'm going to change the name. It said change it to 4B with my initials. And then in the Save As type down at the bottom, you've got all these choices, and we're just going to choose PDF. Now, um, underneath the Save type, you've got the Optimize for Standard or minimum size for if you're publishing online. For us, we're just going to do Standard, and then we're going to click Save, and then it's going to give us our document. Now, we're going to, it says then at that point we can close Word, and I'm just going to minimize my OneDrive. And what we're going to look at next in step number 6 is it says to create a zipped folder. So we're going to use our File Explorer, which is down at the bottom, and we'll open that up. Oh, it's opening on a different screen. All right, let me get into our OneDrive folder. There we go. Excellent. Okay. And so in my BA131 folder, let me make sure y'all are seeing the right screen. You are. Okay, perfect. So your goal is going to be to get your um, PDF and your Word document. Don't pay attention that I have all these extras. I'm going to click one of those. I'm going to hold Control, click the other. And then, if you remember from in class, we are going to click these three little dots right in the middle. We're going to compress that to a zipped file. And it's thinking, it's working. All right, so we have our zipped file now. If you get an error, it may tell you that your document is still open in Microsoft Word. If that's the case, you can just pause, close out your document, make sure you saved it to your OneDrive, and then try your zipped files again. Now it tells us to name the zipped folder LAS files. So to do that, I'm just going to right click on the document, and then I'm going to go down to show more options. And then at the very bottom, or almost the bottom, it says rename. And then I can type LAS files. And when you press enter, that saves that document for you. Now, your next thing to complete this assignment, so you've already emailed the link, your next job is going to be that zipped file is going to be what you submit into Blackboard. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to open up Blackboard, and I'll be back to show you how to do that submission. All right, folks, here we are in Blackboard. So we've done our email link already. We've gotten our zipped file prepared. Now we're going to just do this submission. And so in your module 1 in our classroom, you'll see the week 1 assignment. And it just lets you know you have 2 attempts left. If ever during the class you mess up your first or second attempt, or if you mess up your second attempt, I should say, all you need to do is just send me a quick email. And I can open those attempts for you. I would ask though, if you are trying to submit and it's over the weekend, go ahead and just email me your file so at least it has a timestamp on it. Okay, so to do this submission, I'm just going to click View Instructions. It gives me all the information that I've already seen before. And to make my submission, let me scroll down just a little bit. You can drag and drop your files here. You can do an attachment here, which is what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to go up into my OneDrive. And then I'm going to, let me just click that, go to my BA131 file. I'm going to double click my LAS file. And it asks me, do I want to change my file name? I'm going to say nope. And that is it. As soon as it downloads, you can hit submit down at the bottom right. And it lets you know after you submit, you can't edit this assignment. So we do want to continue. We'll go ahead and submit. And then it gives you your little confirmation. You don't need to keep your confirmations unless you want to. You can hit close and then you're all set. It shows you that you have a submission and then it's not graded yet. All right, folks, so that is the walkthrough of that first project. If you have a chance to work on that over this weekend, you are welcome to do that. If you run into any questions, let me know. And for those of you who've already emailed me your link, you'll get a reply from me saying, got your link, good job. And I will see you all in class on Monday. Okay, have a great one.